Hi, Donna. Hi, Angela. I'm likely going to keep my talking to a minimum. But, hi, Jean. I just wanted to to share a total screw up that I just made and how I saved it. And then I thought maybe we could make something with the Daisy Delight. And then we have the new Daisy Lane. And I was lucky enough I won this Birch background stamp, which is really cool. This will be replacing, goodness, we lost a lot of background stamps, which is kind of sad to me because they're some of my favorites. However, I heard we got back the chicken wire background, which I didn't know that we had before. So I guess I'll have to order that one now so I have a little bit more to use. So I want to tell you what I did. I did take some medicine and I have some cough drops. So hopefully I'll be able to speak without hacking all over the place. So I was making a card. Where is it? I already lost it, but I'm going to tell you I used baby wipes for this, so let's see if I can find it. What the heck did I do with it? Oh my gosh. So anyway, I have a card class on Friday. Here it is. And I had a sample card, if you guys remember, a while back. I made this card with the alcohol in the aqua painter, and then you color over it and it doesn't smear your cardstock. So I used Memento ink and I stamped the palm trees first, and then I went over it. First I used balmy blue, and then I added a little bit, I think it's a little too yellow, but it's since it's dried, it's calmed down a little bit, but the crushed curry was really bright at first. So I ended up going over it with a little bit of Sahara sand. And then I always like purple, but I already have my Highland Heather packed up for the party on Friday. So I was like, I'll just use a little bit of Gorgeous Grape, which was really kind of a teeny bit in here. So it was really, really light, which worked out well. But as I was adding my Blushing Bride, I noticed that it really didn't have very much color to it. So I decided I was going to just re-ink it while I had it open. So I had it open like this, and I was fooling with some in the tray that I was, adding, and I thought it looked really pretty. And then I thought, while I'm here, I'm going to re-ink it because it needed a little bit more. And what did I do? But I grabbed the Petal Pink re-inker. And so I put a drop in the well here to use, and then I put drops all over the top. And then I realized Petal Pink and Blushing Bride. So that was a total doozy. So I'm going to show you what I did. And I did re-stamp since then. So this is the Blushing Bride. It is a little bit darker. So probably depends on where I stamped. But also I did re-ink it with Blushing Bride. So it could just be a little bit darker because of that. But let me show you what I did. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you by inking something in the correct color and then removing the ink. So I'm going to ink up, this is a really old pad that I have, which is Rich Razzleberry. So this one's probably pretty dry. So what I did was, I took my re-inker and I had dropped some drops on. Now one thing, you know what, I have to pick a different one because this is a linen pad, so it's not going to work the same. So give me 1 second, let me reevaluate that choice. I'll go with another one that always needs ink, which is Garden Green, because I use this a lot. So what I did was I took, and look, I almost did it with Old Olive. See, we almost had a real life redo. So when you put your refill ink drops onto your foam pads, when you notice this, they kind of sit on top. So as you can see that they sit on top. Now, if your pad is really dry, it will absorb it quicker. So as you can see, some of these smaller drops are getting sucked up pretty quickly. So if your pad is really dry, it will definitely suck them up. So if you do this, then you really need to do it quickly. But what I did was, when I realized I had the wrong one, and you could do this with a paper towel or with a baby wipe, but it was the quickest with a baby wipe. What I did was I just took a baby wipe and I sat it on top and I patted it. And I know I'm wasting ink, but to pick up the color. And it did pick up the color. I also made sure, because I had put some in the tray, that I wiped the whole tray out as well. But just in case you ever re-ink with the wrong color, just remember, and we'll use this for something, so I'm not going to waste this ink completely. You can absorb it back up as long as you do it quickly. And generally, even if you did like a yellow and you ended up doing it with a darker yellow, you can kind of see, especially in the lighter colors, this one withstanding, the color pattern, because it will put a darker color instead of the color that you thought you used. So for example, when I put the petal pink onto the blushing bride, you could tell the petal pink whole thing was kind of faded out, and then it had some really, really dark spots. So just make sure that if you do that, you just kind of tap it to pick up the ink. And I did 2 different times. I tapped over once, and then I kind of pressed a little bit more to suck the ink up. And then I just went ahead and re-inked it with the correct color. And my point probably would be as well is try not to do this when you're like fooling around with other stuff. So you make sure that you pick the correct ink, because pinks, they can, you know, I have them stored a certain way, so they're pretty close to each other, but I realized I had taken the petal pink out for something else I was doing. So anyway, I did restamp and it does look pretty good, but in case that were to happen to you, baby wipes are a good thing to suck it up with. You could also do it with a paper towel, but the more important thing is you want to do it right away. So while we are here, and I'm going to put these on the side because I do have to finish. This is one of the cards that we're going to be making for my stamp club on Friday. And I had an original and I cannot find it. So I decided to make another one. So I just have to still finish up the sentiment. But in case you've never done this, just as a whole side, when you fill your aqua painter with alcohol and you run ink over top of it, which I do have, this video is probably on YouTube and you can probably find it here on Facebook as well. It actually doesn't smear the other original color. And you can do this with black, or you can do it with regular inks as well. So it is a really neat technique. And Gail from Stamp with Gail did a lot of cards with this using the waterfront stamp set, I believe. And the cactus, which is retiring, by the way. I'm so sad. The Beach Happy and the cactus didn't make it to the carryover list, so I'm really bummed about that. But it makes a really neat card, and it's a really cool technique because you can add a lot of color without smudging anything. So I have to finish this up for our club for Friday. And then when I made that mistake with the ink, I thought this is the perfect opportunity to share with people, because I'm sure, you know, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to buy a brand new ink pad. And then I thought, wait a minute, let me see if I can fix it. So anyway, it was able to be fixed as far as I'm concerned anyway. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just trying to move. Wasn't planning on going live since I wasn't feeling good, so I have things precariously situated everywhere. Remove these. Hopefully won't need them again. So this background I thought was really cool, and I was super excited to win this one. So I think you could do this one of 2 ways. I'm pretty sure birch trees are very light colored. So I thought you could either do this with the birch, the markings would be white on gray, would be really cool. Or you could do maybe this on white cardstock with Sahara sand, or maybe a little bit of crumb cake I thought would be really pretty. So, is the catalog small this year? I'm going to tell you what, Diana, they said it's 500 grams. But quite honestly, hold on, I'll show it to you. It doesn't seem like it weighs that less to me. So, this is it. It's still the same size as the other one, like physically. They're still the same size. I mean, I guess it's like a tiny bit. This is the Occasions catalog. Hold on. It's like a tiny bit slimmer. Maybe. You know, it doesn't have the Big Shot and all that stuff in there, so. But there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I'll tell you that. If anyone doesn't have a demonstrator and you would like a catalog, if you're a customer of mine, you will automatically get one. But if you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. You have to send me your full mailing address with your zip code, and I will make sure to mail one out to you. You can send that to rachthestamper@gmail.com. But I don't really think it's that much smaller. So, almost flipping it over in the meantime. That wouldn't be good. But anyway, lots of cool stuff in here. You can just see all the fun stuff. If you can see, there's like 2 totally different, like, themes here. You get that? So, gives you maybe a hint to what's inside. I'm sure you've seen some previews that they've shared. I was lucky enough that I got this ribbon. It's Night of Navy and Sahara Sand. And then I got a lot of these trinkets, which are really cute. And I do have some cards to share with you, but since I wasn't prepared to talk a lot, I'll do those another day. But anyway, I thought what we could do is do maybe do two backgrounds with the Birch, just so you could see what the different ones look like. Just as many stamps as always. I think so. Got a lot of, it's very sweet oriented, which is cool because I think it's very easy to see what's there, whereas in the past maybe you didn't know what went together. A lot of good stamp sets that I want, that's all I have to say. I mean, definitely. Hold on, moving on to another cough drop here. I think there's a lot of stamp sets. A lot that I want. I have a large wish list already, and we can't really do a main order until May 1st, I believe. I did do a pre-order, but it probably won't even be here until next week. But I will share that when it comes on with you guys. So I'm going to show you. We'll do like we'll do 3 of these. We'll do one with black as well, just to see what it looks like. So we'll do 3 backgrounds with this, and then we'll fool around with this. This does match the current Daisy Punch. So if you have that large Daisy Punch, you could use it for either of these. This will be in the new catalog as well. So both of these are going to be able to be used with the big Daisy Punch. And I like how they changed a little bit of the fonts on this. I think it's really pretty. And just coincidentally, if you do have the large Daisy Punch, excuse me, I saw people using it for bunny ears. So if you don't have a like an idea yet, you kind of will just cut off part of it, and then you could put them behind something like they were hiding. So if you do need an Easter card idea, that's a good idea. I'm going to put this over here for a minute, and we'll do that for the background. Let's see. I did get some other cool stuff too, but like I said, when I can talk more, I'll share it with you. Okay, so I have a piece of Whisper White. So I'm going to do basic gray with this. And since these are the new cling mount stamps, this is an idea if you want when you put your whole background stamp on. Oh, you see a little spot didn't get on there. What I've been doing is I'll just take the stamp, keep it in the case, and then, this is the lazy Rachel way of doing it, just ink up the stamp. And then you probably want to get a nice piece of scratch paper. We'll use this and just press. And so it's pretty cool. This will be really nice embossed as well, which I'm also kind of bummed. Now, a little whoopsie there. I'm really a little bummed that the Crackle folder, the Crackle background stamp isn't carrying over. That was like, I thought for sure that was a sure bet. So I'm going to have to leave a note in the sandbox and ask them. Because if they brought back the chicken wire, there could be a chance that they bring back the Crackle folder. So if you don't have a Crackle folder, you should get your hands on it. So one other thing I'm going to do this. I think I said I would do black on gray as well, but I'm going to do white last. So I'll do the craft ink last, and I'm going to clean this off actually with a baby wipe. I'm not going to use my chamois for that. So I think I have a piece of black here. This might be a little weird, but I think it still looks kind of cool. So we have black. And I think I also wanted a piece of basic gray. Let's see. As you can tell, my apologies. I am completely not prepared for this. Once I started making mistakes, that's when I was like, maybe I should go live. Go live with my mistakes so everybody can partake in them. Okay. And just in case you didn't get your hands on any trimmer blades, they will be coming in and out of stock as they get more in. So if you go to place an order, there actually will have a box that will pop up, and it will say, do you want to be emailed if the blades come in? So if you do that, then when they come in, they'll send you an email. So let's see. I'm going to keep this here. So I was going to do this with, nope, that with that. What did I say? I was going to do white. I did white with gray. So reverse, white with that, black with white. Oh, Lord. You know what we could do this with? How if we do this with Versamark? And we'll do it with embossing powder. We'll see what that looks like. Why not? My son is at t-ball practice, so I've got the house that's very quiet. So we can do some fun stuff while it lasts. I'm feeling a little bit better. Not super. Crackle is carrying over. I'm glad you told me that. I didn't see Crackle in the new catalog. Hold on. Now you have me curious. Because I pulled my stamps out, the way they did set the list up was a little confusing. I will admit that. So if anybody else was confused, it wasn't just you. But, daggone it, it's right there under my gosh. I'm just something. Thanks, guys. That made my night. Alright, so that was Versamark. Whew, thank goodness. Crackle's carrying over. Okay, I feel so much better now. I thought that one was like such a good one. How could they get rid of it? So, okay, clearly it wasn't just me. Thanks for that, ladies. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, so that was the Versamark. I'm going to just put this on the side for a minute. I will clean that off in a moment. Oh, this would be cool. Let's do it in black. Just because it happens to be there. I don't know. I probably normally would have done it in clear, but let's see what it looks like. This might be cool. Right now, I kind of feel like Gail, because Gail's always doing like things that I'm always like, why didn't I think of that? Oh, this might be really neat. Which is why I also love watching other demonstrators, because I think they always think of ideas that I might not have thought of. Now, one other thing. I did do that little whoopsie there, because the way I inked it up, I think I was pushing a little bit hard. So, where's my fancy tool? What I usually will do is I keep a little paintbrush handy. And then you can just kind of dust this off. And give it a good flick. There you go. So that little spot is gone. So I'm going to sit this over here. And dump my powder back. I'm very glad, too, that the black powder is carrying over. I know that took a while to come back. Okay. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm going to heat up my embossing tool. Almost done. Let's see. No, one more spot. Hold on. Almost done, I promise. This is like the longest embossing ever. Okay. Oops, that's good enough. So that looks pretty cool. Really like that. It's got a lot of different appeal to it. Oh my gosh, I totally missed this whole section in the center. Okay, I'll do it when I'm done. I'm not going to do it now. Yeah. All right, so one thing though, and I'm going to set this over here so I remember. One thing you do want to remember, especially with Versamark, is you want to make sure you always clean Versamark off of your stamp as soon as you can, because it is tacky and it kind of will collect goop, if that makes sense. So always make sure, if you don't clean anything else off of your stamps, make sure you definitely clean off Versamark or white crafting, because they are very difficult to get off the longer they've sat on there. And also looks like there's like a new little mini stamping cleaning thing coming out. I don't really know much about it, but it's like the size of a stamp pad. And I think you can like spray it and like rub it so you could take it with you on the go, which looked pretty cool for like that kind of on the go crafting. All right, so the last one I'll do is white. I know the black does look good, doesn't it? Okay, so this is, I have this, I think they moved back to the big one anyway, but it does come uninked. This is really old, as you can see from the label, but it still works fine. And I do have a re-inker. So again, if you don't have any, if you have a stamp pad, it's always really a good investment to get the re-inker because it's only like $3.75, so you can't beat that. So I'm gonna just ink this up. This would also be a cool one to do if you wanted to. Onto navy would be neat. White on navy. Or you could even take this a step further since it is a craft ink. And you could add some white embossing powder to this or some clear over the white if you don't have white. That would make it look pretty neat as well. Alright, so where's that? There's that. So I just have a black piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to set this over here. And just press one more time. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Ooh, that looks cool. Definitely. You know what the other thing this would look really cool as? Clouds. Like those long, thin clouds in the sky, like a far, that would look really neat. So I need to write this down because otherwise I'll forget. But another use for your Birch background, you could use it as clouds, which is also why I like playing with this kind of stuff, because then it helps you to think of ideas. So let me just wipe this off. As you can see, this is way messier, so I will end up having to take this to the sink and rinse it off just to make sure but I just want to get a little bit of the suddy stuff on there. Okay. And then the other thing I usually keep handy, which are pretty cheap, are these microfiber cloths. They're like those no lint cloths. I got a huge pack of these at Costco. And I still have probably like 25 brand new ones in there. So you could cut these up if you wanted to. But they're nice because they don't leave fuzz on stuff. So pretty clean. I mean, I definitely will take this down still and give it a good rinse underwater, but not so bad. So that's the new Birch background stamp. So there's that one. This one, which still needs to be heated. And this one. And only because this one still will be a little bit tacky too, so just be careful because you could smear it. So you could also use your embossing tool to heat set it to dry a little bit. But one tip, because I did this once before and I just want anybody to know, if you don't heat this right away, this will actually, you could rub it off. So you do want to make sure you don't want to let these sit because it will lose the stick from this. So I'm only letting it sit because I don't want to make you guys suffer. But if you have this done and you're like, I'll just do them all at once, don't. I did that one time and I wasted so many Christmas cards. I had to go back and do them over again. So just as a FYI, whenever you add embossing powder to something, you want to heat it. Not like immediately, but pretty quickly, because when it loses its stick, it will brush off. So little bit of information there. Now the cool part about this stamp set is it is cling. So you can see it's really sticky. Now when I kept, and this one is photopolymer, but in the past when I kept my clear mount stamps, I used to keep the rubber thing in them because I always wanted to make sure I knew how many that I had because they were always falling out. But since these are pretty sticky, I've kind of gotten rid of the newer ones. I've gotten rid of that little outline piece that goes with it. And I did do another video the other day on YouTube, just re-showing you how to mount these, because these will be most of the new stamps in the catalog are cling mount now, which is good because when you put them on something, they'll actually stick. That was with no effort really whatsoever. See, I'm so athletic, you can tell I can't do it again. But it really isn't even barely on there, and they're really sticky, so that's really good. So what I thought we could do, and I'm going to do this with this since it's already wet, and I'll see. I don't really even know what this is going to look like, but another thought that just came to my mind The gray one does look like a specialty paper. Why, thank you, Sherry. If anybody has the Painted Seasons framelits that had that leafy fern, this might match that. You never know. I'm not really 100% sure, but I didn't get it, so I just thought, you never know. So since I have this ink on here, I'm just going to kind of press it and see what happens. It's a little bit dried now, but... So we have this little fern. Now you could also go a step further if you wanted to, and you could add like a drop of shaded spruce. So this is that whole, goodness, what do they even call this? Baby wipe technique, where you add the different re-inkers. And then, what was that? Granny apple green. So you have the cool different colors in there. Now, if you do this and you actually put it onto something so you can pick it up a little bit more. Well, here, look, I'm putting it onto something that's going to be giving anyway. Yes, I really am blonde. It is real. There you go. So you get like that little kaleidoscope color effect of the different ink colors. Somehow in there, two of these colors, it must be picked up something from underneath. It's got like a bit of purple in it. But this is neat if you want like a different color background. That was a little uninked. And then another thing you could do is, but again, I don't want to heat up the embossing tool. You could sprinkle clear embossing powder over this and heat set everything that's clear. I think Gail did that recently as well. And then go back in and fill in the color. This is kind of like the Joseph's coat she did, but she did it over DSP, which was really, really pretty. So that's another cool idea as well. Put this on the side. All right, so I'm going to wipe this little mess off here. All right, and I'm going to go with, might as well clean this up, the actual idea. I'll see if I can remember what idea I had. So I thought we could stamp the large daisy. And I'm going to kind of stick with the colors I have, so they might be unusual. So I'm going to do the daisy in Mango Melody. And what else do I have over here? I'll do the center in Soft Suede, because I do have a lot of my inks packed up for the party. I'm trying to be prepared. And then we'll do the stem. Let's see. Just do a couple stems for now, let's see. In Old Olive. You could do Call Me Clover. And where did I put? Here it is. Just because my table's a little bumpy, so put these here. Because, you know, daisies do kind of tend to go that one, they follow the sun, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so one thing you could do, you could stamp these all together, just like that. You could also, if you have a Post-it, so we'll just do one just for the heck of it. Post-it note. Let's see. Okay. Ooh. Apparently my mango needs to be re-inked. Alright, so I have my punch. So what I'm going to do is, you don't really have to stamp it to get this done, but you definitely want to make sure you have some sticky in here. So you slide your Post-it note in. And again, if you have masking paper, this will work really well because it's kind of sticky all over. That's okay. It'll come out eventually. I've done this a million times. So we could put, we'll put one here. I'm going to do one more. And then we might move one around. So I'm going to do one more. Oh my gosh, I almost threw my punch in the trash instead of the paper scrap. And I'm going to put one here. So that's what I'm going for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my daisy. I'm going to keep out the brush tip because I'll fill in the center. And since these aren't sticky all over, I'm going to try to be very careful when I do it. And then I'll put a little bit of this, kind of just dotting it around in the center. And kind of go to the edge a little bit too. And stamp. That's a little greener than I thought it would be. Must be the combination of those two colors. The mango and the suede. Okay, so instead, I'm going to swap out the suede and go to crumb cake. So same thing again in the mango. And then I'm going to just do a little bit of the crumb cake. And we'll do one more here. Alright, let's see. I'm going to do, clean this off again. Now at this point we could have moved one of these so it was covering over this, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned with it. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, kind of keep it on the side. So if you did this with masking paper, you'd be able to use it over and over again. So just keep that in mind because masking paper is super sticky, the whole entire part of it. Just line this up here, and I am going to fill that in with a little bit something different. Okay, so although not perfect, you get the idea. You can mask a lot better if you'd like. So let me do one more thing. Now this one doesn't have the little center part because it's kind of already in there. So I'm actually going to pull out this one from the old stamp set. And I'm just going to pop this on. So you could either do that with a darker color. You could even do it with like, sometimes they do have that kind of a greenish center. So I'm going to do a couple of these. We'll see what it looks like. Ooh, that's a little too green. Let me stamp that off first. It's a little better. Kind of the third stamp is the best if you ask me. The third generation stamp. One other thing I did notice here, where is it? Is I have one that's kind of goofy because the way these are lined up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this one. And I'm going to cover this one here. And I'm kind of trying to fill this in back here. And I'm going to shift. And this should be kind of behind it, but it looks a little crazy. But you get the idea. Going to stamp this off twice. Maybe 3. So you could do like a little bit of playing with the depth of something if you actually went to the full trouble of masking that, which would be really neat. And worst case scenario, if you do something and you don't really like it, so let's just see here. This is just a scrap piece of paper I was playing with. So I'm going to go back in. And I think I could fit one here that I should be able to punch. There's one. I'm going to kind of stamp this a little bit in the center. And then we'll take our punch. And you can line this up. Just like so. Pop that out. And then you can always pop one of these up if you wanted to. If you do curl these, just be gentle when you do it with your bone folder, because sometimes you get a little too crazy with your paper and you'll start ripping the leaves. But you could put that on it. They have these really cute centers for the flowers. they're so realistic looking, honestly. They make you want to sneeze. It's kind of funny, but so you could put this one on somewhere. So we'll add that one somewhere. I'm not 100% sure yet, but so anyway, that's another something you could do with it. You could also, and I'm just going to set this one on the side for a second. So one other thing you could do, let's see if we can find this one. So we have this one here. If you remember, we did this with the basic gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I saw the fern out. I'm going to take the fern out, and most of my green's already over there. I'm going to go with Call Me Clover. I know that's a little bright, but do Call Me Clover. So kind of just like that. We're just leaving this off to the side. Again, you could also cut a couple of these out if you wanted to fussy cut them. Let me just stamp this off a little bit because it's kind of getting a little goopy. Right? So we have that. And then, where is this? Hold on, let me clean this dude off a little bit. And of course, I believe I moved all of my yellows over. The only one I have is Crushed Curry, and that's a little dark. So I'm going to just stamp a couple of these with So Saffron. Just kind of like for backgroundy. Okay, so there's that for the background. And then I'm going to leave this out and do the mango again. Let's see if I can. Oh, what did I do with that little piece? Might be able to fit one on the other side here. We'll see. All right, and then I'm going to take my So Saffron marker. If this bothers you, you can always wipe it off with your finger first, but I've done crazier things with my markers, so like let my 5-year-old use them. I'm pretty confident it'll be okay. All right, let me close this. Close this one. Well, I'm happy at least I did get the stamp today with you guys, so better late than never, I guess. Line this up. And, oh geez. And then what we'll do is we'll take this, just kind of curl the edges. You could even, if you really wanted to, and I know this would take a little bit of work, but you could stamp one of these and kind of cut it out. I'm just going to do one. Where is that? It's already on a block. Just for the heck of it, just to show you what I mean. Oh, I don't have any good sized scraps of paper over here. Let's see. Oh, it might fit on that one. All right, so I'm going to do this a little darker. I'm going to do this with Shaded Spruce. Okay. And I'm just going to dry this for a quick second. See if I can somehow manage to find my paper snips. So I'm just going to go along and then we'll put these together. This should be cute. I know all of my friends right now who are anti-fussy cutters are like, well, I'm not doing that. And that's okay. I don't blame you. I know everybody, 1, does not like the fussy cut, and 2, does not have the luxury of being able to do it, especially if you have arthritis or something like that. My grandmother had arthritis. She was a tin flipper in Bethlehem Steel plant in Sparrows Point. Her and my grandfather both worked there. And her fingers, as she got older, she loved to play pinochle. We used to always play pinochle together. Which that's probably one of the really huge things that I miss about my grandparents. Because I don't have anybody to play pinochle with now. Because you at least need 3 people. But anyway, she had the most crooked knuckles you ever see. But man, when she got a good hand in pinochle, she didn't care. She was always slapping her hand down against the table. As a matter of fact, one time she broke her wrist. And I said, you're going to hurt yourself. She said, oh, it doesn't matter. When I do it with cards, it doesn't hurt. I tell you. I did manage to, I went to church today and yesterday. for Holy Week. And we sang one. So here, that's not too bad, fussy cutting, if that's something you want to do. But if not, you can skip it. And if you don't like the harsh edges of this too, you could also take a different green. So we'll go with, since I have Old Olive over here, you could take Old Olive and a sponge and kind of sponge the edges so it has a little bit more. You can see it gives a lot more depth of color to it. Kind of finishes off those edges. You could also do this with your marker too if you wanted to. But anyway, when I went to church, there was a few sweet old people. They came in really late, so I gave them my seat because I was kind of sitting in the back in case I had a coughing fit so I could run out. I'm going to do it just like that, except I'm going to put it to the side a little bit. And instantly reminds me of my grandparents. They were so cute. I hate to say this because I know someone's probably going to be offended, but I love old people. The older the better. Old people are my people. Probably because I was raised by my grandparents. My parents both worked. My dad went to x-ray school. So I just put that onto the mat in case I didn't show you that. And I ran snail over it. And then where the little creases are, I kind of just pull it back like that. Alright, I'm going to just stick that on there. I'm going to put this up on a dimensional because, whoopsie, why not? You don't mind fussy cutting. Me either. I love it. You have no patience. Look at that. See, that just goes to show you right there. Two completely different things. Now, obviously, if you were going to put this on somebody's real card, you probably want to make sure there's not petal pink on the other side. But since this is just my card, we'll just leave it like that. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to trim this little part off of it. But just something a little cute you can do in the background. And then I'm going to finish this. We'll put this onto something. And I'm going to add some sort of a sentiment. Oh, you know what I got to show you guys? Hold on, I'm going to have to get this one out because it's in the bag. And what's it called? We got a new punch. I got a new punch for going to center stage. It's called the Timeless Label Punch. It's really cool. It's like a little bit smaller than the punches we have right now. So I thought it's perfect for these sentiments. So I'm going to use this when I stamp the sentiment on there. If I can somehow find another piece of scratch paper. Let's see. Yep, that looks good enough. So we'll do smile. Because I need to smile more. I don't smile enough. So we will do smile. And I'm going to just do it in black. That way it like really sticks out. And then we'll layer this one to something. So I've been having a little trouble with the rainbow stampers and being the best behavior lately. So just a quick story. The other night as I was falling asleep, I was saying prayers and singing songs that my grandfather used to sing because my grandparents were in the choir with church. And I'm going to put this to the side. Yeah, let me put it to this side. You could put it in the middle if you wanted to, but let's see. I'll put a little gem or something over there. So anyway, my grandfather loved How Great Thou Art. That was one of his absolute favorite songs. And I'm going to just take my marker here, so saffron, and I'm going to just, whoops, the other end. I'm going to outline this. So I'm singing these songs, and I used to sing them to my son when he was little. And I could not think of the other song that my grandfather loved so much. I mean, literally, I was driving myself crazy. I was thinking of Prayer of St. Francis song that I was singing. I'm like, nope, that's not it. And, oh, I'm trying, hold on, pausing for an embellishment here. This would be cute. We'll put one of these on here. So I'm thinking and thinking. Finally, I fell asleep because I just couldn't think anymore. We'll just put that right there. Cute. You could also use a little one if you wanted to. So the next day, go to church. Christian was with me, so we go to church, and I'm gonna put this on. Ooh. You know, I might put this on. I might trim this down just a smidgy. Hold on, this is gonna be like one of those lots of layers cards. This is clearly Rachel does not do simple stamping. In case you haven't caught that by now. So let me grab have a piece of, I think this is gray granite. All right, so I'm going to do a layer of gray granite. And I'm going to try to use that piece since it's got pieces cut out of it. And I'm going to put it onto So Saffron. Do I have So Saffron as a base? That might be pulled out. I'm going to put it on Daffodil Delight. Let me get my trimmer and trim this up. So anyway, I'm in church. We're down to like the ending hymn. Let me trim this one up just a little bit first. So I'm going to do this at 5 by, I got to do the top. Let's see if I can do it without cutting the flowers. 3 3/4. Hold on, I'm going to fold this back. I should have done this before I attached it, so whew, don't mind me. Luckily, flowers are flexible. So we're singing the last hymn, which was my grandfather's other favorite song, Be Not Afraid. So I was having my little moment. We're leaving. I'm crying. Messed that whole piece up. Priest probably thinks I'm crazy because who comes into church and is crying? Me. I shouldn't be allowed in church sometimes, I think, because I cry so much. I cry at everything because it reminds me of my grandparents. And that, I don't know, just something about that. Just every time it just makes me, I miss them so, so much. I love my grandparents so much, but I still miss them so, so much. But it's just, it's humorous to me, the amount of things I cry at in church. Anybody else like that, or is it just me? So I'm going to layer this onto gray granite. And then I ended up going with Daffodil Delight because I have my So Saffron put on the other side for the party. So, but I love church songs. It just reminds me of growing up. We went to church every Sunday. My grandfather built the altar where we went to church. As a matter of fact, if I haven't told you before, this table that I work on is made out of old church benches. This table that's underneath of this white mat, which is pretty cool. So I always have a piece of my grandfather with me when I'm making cards. So see, that just goes to show you what a full circle moment I just had with myself here. Oh, goodness, yes. I'm a crier. And the worst part is, when you cry, you know you can't sing very well. So then I sound like, you know, when I'm singing. And I know all the words, and I don't sing well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I do, but look how cute that is. That's a pretty simple card. I mean, for the background being simple. But this punch, if you guys haven't seen it, is really, really cute. So this will be available in the next annual catalog. So that's really cute. Simple card. A little bit of fun. I made it without having a coughing fit. I'm so proud of myself. Oh my goodness, yeah, but oh, the songs. I think it just reminds me of them, and you know, that's one thing leads to another. There we go. So if you haven't already, if you're watching, make sure you leave a comment, because I have so many card kits. And I didn't pick the person from the last time. I do apologize. I forgot. So when I come on, and next week I might have to modify my schedule because of being off for Easter break. I might be back Tuesday instead of Wednesday, but I will try to post it ahead of time. But I have so many card kits and stuff to give away. So I'm going to pick from today, if you haven't left a comment. Yes, feel things deeply, Christine. You were so right about that. I'm going to pick 5 names from this broadcast today to give away card kits to. And then I still have the one from last week. So when I come back next week, which I'm thinking is probably going to be Tuesday, I will announce it. And what I'll do is I'll mail you guys the card kit, and either, a lot of them I already have videos that I've made with them. But if I don't, if I get a chance, I'll kind of type up a quick PDF and share it. But I have a bunch of card kits from the last party that we did that no, we had some no-shows last time. So the background stamp, where in the world did it go? It's called Birch. So this is going to be available in the new catalog, Birch. And then again, there is also a new stamp set. So that'll be Daisy Lane, and we still will have the Daisy Delight. So that is going to carry over, and both of those work with the large daisy punch. So that's good to know. I know this Birch is so good. As soon as I saw it in the I was like, oh, I hope they were giving it out. And I don't know, must have just been magic. But here, let me tell you one other thing. isn't it kind of ironic that I got something that has to do with wood? And I was just talking to my grandfather, and my grandfather was a carpenter, and he made all this stuff. See, all these things, I seem to think it's just coincidence, but something keeps coming back and telling me it's not. It's all meant to be. Meant to be that I shared that with you all. So thank you for joining me as a crazy time this evening. I hope you guys had fun. I'm just wiping these off a little bit before I forget, and I'm just leaving you all time to leave a comment. I'm not going to draw them right away. So if for some reason somebody's just coming on and it'll be right close to the end of when I'm cutting it off, don't worry. I will wait to draw the comments, not until next week, most likely. But anyway, let me put these other two out because these were really cute too. This would be really cute, like I said, for like a cool background. And then this one is the one we did with the black embossing powder, which I still need to finish heating. You can totally tell. Heated, not. And then we did another one with the black and the white craft ink, which again, in case you missed it, if you're coming in late, clouds. This would be really cool clouds. You could do these with white and like balmy blue, or the new Seaside spray, which, hold on, I gotta put my cough drop in because now I'm talking too much. I got excited, see? The new Seaside spray, I bet is going to be a beautiful color. So anyway, all right, I'm going to have a coughing fit, so I'm going to sign off. Leave a comment. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon.